Yes, we'll get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It was one place.
Yeah, because it just looked at it and said it just looked like
You know, David, I can see there, I see people on that phone. I think they were clear enough.
Little Reader is. Unfortunately, you can't get away with that. You're the IT guy.
Yeah. I gave it. No.
it's the first street. Okay.
Nope. Are we changed? I would figure that. I would figure that Robin has it.
And you're gonna go up.
The arrow.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Not cool. Story of my life. Changing my name for
Yeah.
Wow, I guess it's better than falling down your own basement stairs and getting a concussion. So, I have yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm waiting for my administrator, Madison. I guarantee for my birthday, we'll be in Auburn for the guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's too cold. Way too cold. I know, me too.
Call the meeting to order, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, can you please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. On December 31st, 2025, notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the North Star Ledger, the Westminster Reporter, and published in the Daily Record. Notice shall also remain posted throughout the year on bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Here. Councilman Carey.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman DiFilippo. Councilman Hall.
I'm here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. So before I begin, item 4, reports of council liaison representatives, council committees, new and old business. I love looking out and seeing a full chamber. This time of year, we have 3 different types of meetings that happen right during this time. We start off with a reorg meeting, then we have standard meetings, then we have budget meetings. So tonight is focused on our township budget. It's an annual process that we complete every year to show transparency on our for our taxpayers and where their money is allocated. So I ask the public that's here with us tonight, please be considerate that this meeting is focused on township business in reference to the township budget, and that during public sessions, I ask you, and humbly request that comments, questions, concerns be focused on the township budget tonight. All right? Thank you.
Excuse me, is that for both public portions?
I'm asking for all public portions tonight, for this particular. Okay?
So, okay, I'm confused. Can I speak on
Only the
Budget presentation.
this?
Good
Mr.
evening.
Murphy, take it away.
Good evening, council. Tonight is the first budget presentation. I just want to walk you through what's going to be a high-level presentation. We certainly want to be collaborative during this budget process, transparent, and then we'll continue to bring forward what we see as vulnerabilities for the budget process and the fiscal outlook. We certainly, staff, and as you know, I've been here 2 months, we're looking for additional revenue streams, supplemental revenue streams that don't hit our taxpayers necessarily, and also exploring new grant opportunities. Tonight, Val will walk us through fiscal updates, cover the last year, and cover what we have projected going forward. Rod will cover construction, the construction budget. Rob will cover the IT budget, and Jackie will cover updates from the assessor's office. So we think that's a good framework for night one. Again, my first budget process, I'd ask for cooperation back and forth. If this is what you like seeing, well, you know, we're amenable to be flexible, but I really want the staff to come up in their departments and tell their story. What happened over the last year, what their outlook is, what their vulnerabilities are going forward. And I think you hear from the subject matter experts is better than me coming up here and talking about things that I'm not the subject matter expert on. So with that, unless you have any questions, I was going to turn it over to Val and have go over. We don't have our first question.
Yeah, I just want to be clear, for each one of the budgets, you could do capital and operating, because I'm in here in the IT budget right now, it's both capital and operating.
Yeah.
Is that the thought pattern?
That's a thought
Both
pattern.
at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There, you good? We can knock this
Any
out.
other questions from council?
Well, first of all, good evening. On this very, very cold night, I'm gonna give you some things to keep you awake, hopefully. This is the 2026 budget presentation. I'm gonna start off with a budget recap from last year, just to, get it fresh back in your mind. In 2024, we budgeted our appropriations of about 33 million. We anticipated surplus of 2.8 million, and the tax levy with the library was 24.7 million. And I put 2024 on there because I wanted to compare it to 2025, how different it was. So in 2025, the appropriations that we authorized were actually 36 million. We were able to authorize that amount of appropriations because we had an influx of surplus that year. If you recall, our surplus was at about 11 million. So we were able to anticipate about 4 million in surplus towards the budget. That year, we also took in the special revenue item of 1.2. And with those two items, our tax levy with the library was about 24 million. As you can see, it's the same 24 million tax levy in 25, 24 million tax levy in 24. And the reason for that is the third bullet point, which is that our tax rate for 2024 and 2025 was equal at 0.635, municipal tax rate I'm talking about. And then below that I have a couple charts just to give you an idea of the various municipal levies from 2021 to 2025 and the percentage increases. And as you can see, in 25 we had a 0% increase. The highest year was 2024, where we almost made it to 2% municipal increase that year. 2023 was very minimal at 0.10. 2022, 1.36, and then you got 2021 at 0.58. And then the next chart over shows the amount of surplus used each year to offset the budget. And as you can see, we started off in 2020 with about 1.2 million, 1.4 in 2021, 3.3 in 2022, about 3 million in 2023, 2.8 in 2024, and then in 2025 we were able to use about $4 million in surplus. This slide shows the tax rate, and I wanted to show this because mainly for the public, because a lot of times we stress in our meetings and we're very frugal with our tax rates for the town, the municipal side, but people become misled and they wonder why their tax bills went up anyways, and this is exactly why. So I showed the 2024 tax rate, which was 2.7, and the 2025 tax rate, which was 2.8. And if you look to the right of each of those pies, you could see that everything pretty much increased except for the municipal purpose and the municipal open space. The rest of the rates increased. Some of the 2025 budget highlights. This is what we were able to do with that extra influx of surplus that we got last year and the special revenue item that we received. So we were able to do $1.2 million of road paving. We bought the street sweeper for $400,000. We put $100,000 towards the design of the Parks building. We were able to purchase a new bus for Dial-A-Ride, and we were able to refurbish the Kiwanis tennis courts. The one thing we also did was we set aside in a reserve $750,000 to help offset the purchase of the fire truck that we had purchased in 2023. So you're gonna see in the next, this budget, the 26 budget, we still have about $425,000 to raise for that truck. If that is in fact, if we don't want to do a note for the purchase of it.
Val, just for clarification, I believe that was 2024, we did that one.
No, this is the second. Is this the first or second pumper?
No, we bought the pumper in 23.
So this is the second.
This is the second one. Yeah, the first one we paid for with the ARP money. That one,
So how much do we have approved for the second pumper?
we have $750,000. So we have to raise another $425.
Plus we made a deposit on that truck.
Yes, that takes that into account. $100,000 deposit we made on that truck. Any more questions? So, that leads me to the key challenges for 2026. So this year we had to bid our sanitation, which was increased significantly. We also have an increasing capital and infrastructure needs throughout the town. You're gonna see a presentation from Steve where he's gonna show you, based on our new AI that we have, how many roads need to be resurfaced, sidewalks that need to be redone. So those are increasing. And then we have the inflation and increasing cost of operations. We've basically been staying steady with our tax rate while the price of everything is going up, and we're not really kind of keeping up with that. So that's been kind of difficult. And then as usual, we have our salaries and contractual raise increases. I left this one in here, even though we did decrease on our health insurance, but we did increase on our liability insurance. You'll see that. So it's still raising insurance premiums. And then of course we have the stagnant revenues. So the general revenues, they're not really increasing that much. And when we have like a flat tax rate, we don't have the influx of revenue from that. So that puts pressure on our long-term budget. And then I have a slide in here that just kind of shows the tax increases throughout the years and how they're kind of flat or steady. So these are recommendations, my recommendations for how we can kind of do away with these challenges or overcome these challenges. So my first recommendation is we need to start seeing a moderate tax levy growth. I know that tax increase is not looked upon well here, and I understand that. I'm frugal myself, and I'm a resident of Roxbury, and I appreciate the fact that we are watching every dollar and making sure we are being careful with our residents' money. But I do believe we have to have a moderate tax growth in order to keep up with the inflation and the expenses and everything that's happening in town. The more we kind of let things go, the more that gets pushed down, the more it costs later. So it's kind of important to kind of start a steady, moderate tax growth. And this one, I believe, I put it in here, but I think we do. I think we have very good controls on our expenditures. We have a very good staff out there. They're very well-minded with, keeping our expenditures not necessarily low, but just like watching it, not just making sure that they're on top of it. And that's the reason why we've been able to have surplus, is because, we have department heads that even though they're asking for money, if they don't need it, they're not gonna use it. So we're able to take that and lapse it over as an appropriation reserve and put it back into our surplus. So, that's one way. I think we need to, you've seen the trend of we're using a lot of surplus and we're using more and more and more each year. I think we need to kind of get on a steady trend of how much we're gonna use, like say, you know, we never know how much our surplus is gonna be every year, and I just found out today, and you're gonna see it in one of my slides, what our surplus is going to be early on, the early number. But you never know in a year how you're gonna close out that year. So it's important that we kind of keep to a steady, surplus usage instead of, 1.2 and then 3 and then 2 and then 4. We need to kind of keep it kind of steady. And then we need to explore alternate revenues, which JJ shared earlier. These could be anything from pilots. I know we're starting to look at pilots. When you have a pilot come into town, at least during the pilot period, you don't have to share the revenues with schools and the counties. You get to keep a little bit more of that, so it's good to kind of explore that. Explore any type of, the only way that we're going to generate revenue is by, having people come into town, and, increasing our net value tax. That's that, and increasing the actual taxes that we charge. That's the only way we're gonna generate revenue. And then long-term planning, which we already do also. I think we're very good at planning. Our capital budget goes out 5 years. But when we close out a year and we say, and I actually just said this to JJ today, like there's things that we just can't do, so we wind up saying we can do it and pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. So we've got a lot of that going on, and unfortunately a lot of the things that we pushed down are coming back this year, and so we're in a little bit of a bind, and that's why you guys don't actually have your binders yet, your budget binders yet, is because we're still trying to figure things out, trying to make it work with what we got, which is difficult this year. So here is the 2025 revenues. I'll caveat it with these revenues are unaudited. They just came in today. So in 2025, our budget revenue, we budgeted about $36 million in revenues, and we were able to realize 38, which is really good. That's a 2.1 excess in revenues. The general, this is what made up that excess. The general revenue excess was $429,743. That excess was mostly made up of the increase in interest on investments. If you guys remember, last year we opened some money market accounts, and you'll see in both those current water and sewer, we generated a good amount, I believe over $400,000 in the current fund of interest revenue. The municipal court increased by $60,000. That you could probably say that our young officers are out there writing tickets, more tickets, I guess. So either that or people are speeding more in Roxbury, I don't know. Maybe it was the potholes. But we had a $60,000 increase in court revenue this year. The construction UCC permits were up by $81,000. That you can probably relate to the villages, all those new houses coming online. But we can't always anticipate that, so that'll probably, once those houses get on, unless there's any other building in town, that's gonna go down again. And then our cell tower rentals were $60,000, in excess of $60,000 this year. The revenues that were general taxation, so the amount to be raised, that was up by 1.3 million. That mainly includes prepaids from the previous year that are realized in the current year, and also any of the added and omitted that come online during that year. And then of course the receipts for delinquent taxes, we received a lot more than we anticipated. We received almost $150,000 more than we anticipated. So that means people are paying their own taxes, so that's good. That's good news. The 2025 appropriations, again, I'm caveated by this is unaudited. We budgeted in 2025, $36.4 million. We paid and charged 35. That leaves us with about 1.2 million that's gonna go into our appropriation reserves. Now, as you know, appropriation reserves will sit on the books in our balance sheet for a year. And some of that, the majority, I would say like at least half of it will probably go to old bills that haven't been paid yet, or, you know, things that haven't come through yet that are charged to the previous year. That's why we keep it in a reserve, and then it lapses into surplus, the next year. So this year, with that said, lapsing into surplus, is $438,000 from last year's reserve. And here's my surplus. So 2024, as you know, our surplus was 11 million, and we used about 4 million to offset the 2025 budget. This year, our 2025 surplus is gonna end up at 9.7 million. And you can see my chart below that. It has the small little thin line that goes through them is all the surplus we use throughout the years, and then the bars are the amount of surplus that we had each year. And then the charts to the right kind of just say the numbers, and you can see that in 2021, we had 8 million, we kind of jumped around 8, 10, 9, 11, and now 9 again. So we're staying up there. We haven't gone below 8 in 5 years. I think that's pretty good.
Just to, that surplus is the healthy surplus.
It is a healthy surplus, absolutely. Here are some 2025 budget highlights. I'm sorry, 2026 budget highlights. The net value tax, which Jackie's gonna talk about in her slides. This is our main value that determines how much money we can use to help our municipal budget. That number is $3.6 billion. It's about a $6.9 million increase. And when you take that number and you multiply it by the current tax rate, that gives us about an additional $43,000 in revenue. One of the biggest highlights is our health insurance savings. The 2025 budget was 5.1 million. We're gonna budget this year about 4.4 million. And it's not only lower than what we did last year, but it's significantly lower than what it would have been if we would have stayed with state health benefits. As you recall, that was going up about 36% this year. So that is a huge savings to the town. And then I have here the capital requests. These are requests, came in at about 4.8 million. So that's a lot. And then we have a contingent liability, which is due to the Garden State Joint Municipal JIP that we're gonna have to budget for. We're gonna have to budget about 300,000 in the current year for that, because I'm gonna take 300,000 out of reserves, and I'm gonna budget the rest out of the budget account. And then we have the additional funding for the pumper truck. So those are some highlights that you're gonna be seeing in the 2026 budget.
Just let me say, the attorney's trying to work on that number. Kind of think it's unfair that we're paying that, getting charged that.
Talking about the liability.
The liability, the 615, he's been fighting it. We're not in it anymore. They're back charging us.
Yeah.
From years ago, yeah, it's been a point of contention. Initially, they came and
So that's what, when I said addressing vulnerabilities, like, this is what I'm talking about. There's some things out there that you could have never budgeted for, but we're getting hit with that bill that we're trying to evaluate.
Was it something written in the state health benefits guidelines in the law that actually said that we were liable for,
this isn't
that
state health
amount of money?
benefits, this is actually our liability insurance. So and yes, there is something in there that you can be held, you can be assessed supplemental, assessments.
Even after the point where
It's
it's terminated?
it's only during the years that you were in the fund. So what they did is, they did a calculation based on the years that we were in the fund, and they assigned us 2% of that, and that's the amount that we're liable for those years. Now, I wasn't happy with the way that they sent the information over, and I wanted it to be more detailed. And so we've been working with Tony to go back and forth between the attorneys, number one, to get the more detailed information so that we can say, okay, that is a true cost to the township. And two, they're trying to make us pay it all at once because we're no longer in the fund, even though all the other members get to pay it over a period of 10 years. So there's a couple of inequities that are involved that we're trying to work out. This is the worst case scenario.
We should have a detailed list of what it is.
Right, what years?
What we actually do have to pay.
Correct.
Exactly.
They haven't been transparent, and second, they're giving it to us because we're not in there anymore, so.
And
So
the-
we're fighting that, just, we wanted to highlight it here because that's $600,000, that's real. Liability.
Right.
Question.
Good, Fred?
I am thinking that.
The $425,000 for the fire apparatus, is that the final amount?
Yes,
Um,
that'll cover it.
Is there an opportunity to earmark some this year and earmark some?
It depends on when it's gonna be done. I was under the impression that it was gonna be done this year. If it's not gonna be done this year, then we could do some this year, some next year. But
I
I'm
want
kind
the impression it would be delivered to us in 27.
Okay, then we can make that in half and do half this year and half next year.
That's a recommendation.
Yes.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan.
Anyone from the fire department weigh in on that?
John?
So, in regards to the park, the delivery.
Can you come up,
times
come up to the mic?
So in regards to the engine, the times have shrunk. We don't have an exact date. We were on schedule target. So they're not pushing them out, they are reducing them. But we can get an answer for you exactly when the date is.
Currently, we're anticipating 27, but you're saying times are being pushed up, so it could come this year?
It could come back, but I don't have an
Let's
exact
get
date.
definitive
Yeah, I'll make
information on
a phone.
that, and we can make an informed decision.
I'll make a phone call right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll get the information for you. Any other questions on this page?
And that's it. Any other questions for me?
I'm sorry, I do have one question. You had a really nice chart here in regards to the surplus, and you laid it out very nicely over the years. What's the rule of thumb as far as how much surplus should be carried, Valerie?
It's 20% of your, I believe it's 20% of your, budget, municipal budget, I believe. I would have to look for sure.
Okay. So, if that's the case, we're.
I remember correctly, a number was thrown around
Yeah, I thought
about
it was 20.
19%.
Yeah.
I've always been told GFOA doesn't want you to go below 16%, so there's, I think that's the floor, it might have gone up, but yeah, yes. Anywhere between the 16 to 20 is where you would be.
So based on the budget, I guess as we go back to the point of June, I think before, we're in pretty good shape here, we're a surplus.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now, on the revenues, you said, we budgeted 36.4, we got 38.6, that's 2.2 million or so. The numbers you gave to general revenue expense, just these are the highlighted ones. I assume this should all add up to 2.2.
Oh, I just highlighted them.
Just highlighted.
Yeah, I just highlighted them. I didn't wanna list them all out.
Yeah, okay.
Cause there were some that were like minimal and some, so I said, I'm just gonna do the ones that are,
And on the spending side, I'd like to point out, some of those were one-offs, we pulled things in the capital budget forward last year. To keep
Right.
them on books.
right,
That's their fund, availability in place, so the expenditures, we're not looking to compare last year's expenditures necessarily.
right. Right. Any other questions? So, we're gonna, with that said, we're gonna have Jackie, our tax assessor, is going to present next. And then I'm gonna see if I can get out of here.
Come on up, Jack.
So are there any other particular?
You're gonna go right in the hot seat.
thanks for having me. So normally I don't do this sort of thing I'm in 4 municipalities now, so this will be my first, giving highlights for the financial aspect of the assessor's position. So just going over a little recap for 2025. For added assessments, those are improvements to homes, new construction, any tenant fit outs in commercial spaces. So we brought in 26 million in added assessments this in 2025. Hoping to do a little bit more next year. I'm always, I like money, so I like to bring that in. We did have, we settled 14, we had 14 county tax board appeals. We settled or withdrew 6 of those. 8 were very minimal as far as changes or settlements go. For state tax courts, that's where our big one is. So right now we have 4 appeals that have been lingering on for over 10 years here in Roxbury Township. We have 6 that are between 5 and 9 years old, 7 that have come on within the last 4 years. So we did settle a good chunk of some that have been lingering because the state tax board, they're forcing us to. They're trying to get rid of those older appeals. So with that, we are trying. What I'd like to try to do is try to do a step down going forward in the new year and withdraw prior years. But some of these that have no current business here, these are older appeals. There's just still waiting. We have to settle those. I am working on those. One of the things that I did recommend to Val and JJ is that an increase in surplus to settle some of these appeals before we get hit by the state tax court to have them settle so they don't kick into our regular funds.
I don't think we've seen an update. Fred Simrose.
Fred is a tax appeal attorney, yes.
Anything from him or Tony on the list of liabilities?
Okay, yeah, so we have some of our bigger ones are Wellfleet, Conway Fry, and the Ledgewood. We did settle Ledgewood investors over at the mall. One of our big ones that we did settle was the Landing Mall, which
Would you be able to just provide us
with the updated tax list? Yes, absolutely. There's a lot less than when I started here. In March I'll be here for 2 years, so there's a lot less. We did have several withdraw because whether they didn't have their Chapter 91s in place with their income and expense, we filed motions to dismiss on lack of information. So that's good. That's good for us. So we don't have to worry about refunds in those instances. For the 100% disabled veterans, they are coming in mass, and not just here in all of my town. So I did approve 18 100% disabled veteran applications in Roxbury. Excuse me, which was a $6 million reduction in assessed value. But we did bring 5 back who either moved out of town, passed away, or just did not qualify any longer.
Is there a written list of those homes?
Of the 100% disabled veterans, I could get that for you as well.
I don't need to see the list. I'm just wondering if it's active, how often is that?
We do audits every 3 years. We send out what we call a further statement, and that is to make sure that they are still living in the home. If it's a surviving spouse, that they have not remarried, that they, if we do need additional paperwork, we will request that paperwork.
So the property sells, if
once a property sells, we get whenever a property sells in town, we did have 300 deeds come through our system. So when there is a sale, it gets recorded through the county sends it directly over to our office, and it's coded. So if you're a 100% disabled veteran, it's coded as a 15F. That's an exempt property. So my assistant Lydia, she will put that on my desk and say that's no longer. So if that disabled veteran happens to say moved away in May, we will put an added assessment on that property from May through December for the rest of the year for that new owner to take that tax burden on. But so 5 of those, which amounted to $1,255,000, we did bring 5 back onto the rateable base. My recommendation with the 100% disabled veterans, and I am 110% gung-ho veteran, in my other municipalities, it just saves us a little bit of money. We approve the veteran as the day that I approve that application. Because going back, we don't get a credit going back from the county or the state. We get it from the date that we have that approval in my office. So that's just, that's not my decision. I leave that all in your capable hands as far as that goes.
Is that how we're doing it right now?
Right now, it goes back a little bit beyond a year. 2 years, I believe it is. 2 years.
But in your other towns, you don't.
In my other towns, we do it as a date. It's an ordinance. It's as of the date that I approve that application. Just to give you an idea, so you come and you move into town, you apply, I approve you. You may have been approved as of 2 years prior. You may have been getting in that benefit in another state that 2 years prior that we don't know about. We're not allowed to ask about that. So it's just for, I've never had a problem with it.
I would just ask you to
Yeah.
get to it.
So-
One of the things that there are a few of these things that we want to bring forward as part of the collaborative conversation that says, I think I know what the intent of the council has been, but there's repercussions from a negative fiscal standpoint of going back. There's unintended consequences.
I thought, what we talked about years ago on it, was that if a person was in town and had been paying taxes to us, and then became exempt, would go back 2 years. That, what you described, of someone coming from another state coming in and saying, we're gonna give, they just bought an house, we're going back 2 more years.
I'd rather not give it to the.
I'm just saying, I think I'd rather get the information.
Yeah, it's fine.
Make sure we all.
I'm going to bring mirror language from other municipalities, and we have an expert here who deals with this in other municipalities.
No, thanks for bringing it to us.
Oh, sure thing. With,
On a legal contract.
he's got the legal pad going right away. As far as farmland goes, we have a little over 30 farms in town. I had to deny 2 of them. We are getting audited now, so 2 farms did have to be denied, so they are now on the tax rateable base. One of them is probably going to try to come back on. The other, they just don't qualify. It's a larger farm. They were approved for agricultural use, but unfortunately they have a massive pond that takes up that takes away from their eligible farmland. So I did have to take two farms out of circulation. Now COA fees, so we have the affordable housing fees. So in connection with the zoning department, whenever there is a building that is greater than 1,000 square foot of an addition, a COA fee is warranted on the home. Another one, it's all different in all my towns. So this in Roxbury Township, it's 1,000 square feet. And then I go out, I do get their calculations, I do a COA fee, and then the zoning department, that goes into the Affordable Housing Trust. So we have done 9 residential projects on that thus far. And in 26, I think I've already done 3 or 4 maybe already. So things are building, which is good. I wish we could get more commercial on 46 to build. cause that would bring in,
You and me both.
yeah, so, and I'm not from Roxbury, I just drive down and I say, oh, what, the possibilities, are endless, so, and that would bring in a lot of revenue. So, and not another hot chicken wing place. There's a lot of those. So, and with inspections, I performed over 60 plus inspections on additions, new construction. So whenever a new home is built at the villages, or anywhere else in town, I go out, I measure it. I go in and I do what we do as far as count square footage, bathrooms, basements, decks, patios, pools, and we will put on an added assessment as of the date that I do that inspection if it's complete. So that's 25 as a recap. I also would just like to point out that I was elected president of the Morris County Assessors Association for 2026 and 2027. And Lydia Ferriola, my assistant, she is an aspiring tax assessor. She'll do a great job one day. She was elected secretary of the Morris County Assessors Association, so I had to grab her in for a little bit. So now for a glimpse into 2026, looking again for the added assessments to, the more buildings that there are, the more I get to go put values on. And that's going on. For farmland, the state of New Jersey is going to be rolling out a portal for farmers. So away goes the paper and pen applications. So there will be training as far as any, I don't believe that we're going to need any financial assistance in this category whatsoever, but we'll stay tuned for that. Tax maps, that's going to be our big one. So when you have a municipal ratio that drops below a certain point, what the county does, they usually take the lowest 4 ratios and they call that municipality in for a revaluation. So we didn't get called in this year, so that is good, but I have a very strong feeling where our ratio is. We're going to get called in next year to do a reval in maybe 29 or 30. So that's just getting ahead of it. But what I've been seeing at the county tax board, the towns that are going through, that the tax maps are a mess in all the towns. So now to give you an example, we have beautiful tax maps in Madison. We just got 13 pages back from the state of New Jersey with corrections. So I know that the engineering department has the tax maps in their budget, but being that the tax maps are used by the police, the health department, the DPW, all the departments, engineering, assessing, it was my recommendation that it goes into a capital budget instead of the engineering budget alone. I wish Mel were here; she would thank me for that. But that because it's going to be a cost because the state wants it in a certain format now, and then they want certain changes made to it, and they will kick it back. East Hanover just got their 4th meeting back at the county tax board. They're going to get fined and be held in contempt because the tax maps aren't changing. So the tax maps need to be updated. So if there's a subdivision that needs to go in, it's a matter of who's putting that in there. I'm not an engineer. We have surveyors. You have the engineers, but it doesn't fall on the township engineer. A surveyor needs to get that in there. So we do have a surveyor, but now there's different levels and layers of the tax maps that the state wants. They want zoning layers. They want different GIS layers. A little bit out of my scope of experience, but what I do is whenever there's a lot line adjustment or a subdivision, I go and I take my hard copy of my tax map, I mark it up. What I normally do is I'll meet with the engineer in January to go over those.
I thought we had a thing where if there was changes made, the applicants were supplying us that data to insert into our program.
I've never heard that. But there's a few missing pieces from the prior assessment. I'm not gonna throw blame, but but there are, a few missing pieces there. So, it's kind of those changes, how do they get made? I'm used to getting new tax maps every year, I make the changes, whether it's 6 pages that have changes on it, this way everyone gets a new updated, tax map, so, just for accuracy. But the state is looking at those.
When's our last revale page right for?
2019. Yeah, it was 2018 was the field work of 2019. With them, with the reval, where Madison, we have 4,300 line items, we were called to do a reval. It's just a matter of the sales, the real estate sales, the market is crazy. So that's bringing down the ratios. And it's not just in this town, it's, there are so many towns that have been ordered to do a reval. But it's costly. So Madison is, we have 4,300 line items in Madison. The reval is costing us $1,030,000. And that's 4,300 line items as opposed to close to 9,000 line items here in Roxbury. So it's just anticipating what is going to be inevitable. So, but I was assured that we're not getting called in this year. But I don't think we're going to escape next year. And the tax maps are big. Tax maps are not included in that $1,030,000. That's all separate.
So there is it's a ratio rate trigger. It's not based on number of years. So in other words, when it hits a point where that ratio is at a certain number, that's when they'll call us and say within the next 2 years we need to do a reval. Is that the way it's working out?
It's sometimes like that. So we do have one that's coming up. Boonton Township, for instance, is one of my municipalities. They have not had a reval since 2013. Their ratio it's teetering, but we had it because we all thought that Roxbury was going next. But we were saved by the fact that we had a reval in 2019. Now that reval, again, I was not here for that reval. When I started 2 years ago, we're going through some things, and the reval, it was just not accurate. And I don't know who. My job as the assessor is to oversee what the appraisal systems is doing. But there are pockets, just to give you an idea, and I don't know where Val is, but Poets Peak is so undervalued. It's so underassessed right now. It's very, very underassessed. Some of the properties on the lake are underassessed. We have, so we have, and I have corrected once a house, say a house in Poets Peak, it's assessed at $400,000 or $450,000. It's selling. Well, I mean, one just came on for $939,000 today on Lazarus, and it's so far away. If that house hasn't been updated, I have to make that a usable sale. And that's what brings your ratio down so badly. So if it's a house that, okay, kitchen's been updated, bath's been updated, a basement has been finished, then I could go out and send out a letter for inspection and say I need to inspect your home for improvements that we don't have on record. And it's not that anybody did something wrong. If you are updating your kitchen or your baths and you haven't moved any plumbing or electric, you technically don't need a permit for that, which is what normally triggers me to come in. But it does increase your value, increase the market value. So that's what I want to get out there. But it's not happening up at Poets Peak. It's just there's no crazy improvements. But those sales prices are crazy up there. What's
hard to find a house.
It really is. And I've been in real estate since 2001. So I get the hot sheet every single day of the neighboring municipalities, and it's not just here. You have a great school system. You have, I live in Long Valley. I wish we had the recreational department.
Thank you.
I wish we had some of the services that Roxbury offers. Makes me sometimes want to move over here, but can't afford anything in Poets Peak.
Sale right now.
So yeah, well then we'll jump to the salary portion of that for the increase. So tax maps, that's just anticipating what is to come and getting money put away for that. And other than that, with our salary changes, our current budget, you know, we remain pretty flat. And lastly, it's just with the appeals that we do have to settle. You know, I was hoping to get a little bit more money in the surplus, the reserves for the tax appeal settlements that we can try to make.
Let's get an updated list on that with where we stand on that possible.
So it's two issues. It's the tax appeal side, and it's the reval side. And the assessor has never presented, my understanding, to you guys before, but what we wanted to do is bring, I mean, this is the money, right? We wanted to bring forward how we're turning the money, talk about what's good and where are there vulnerabilities. So that's why we wanted Jackie to present night one. Hope you guys appreciated that. Any other questions?
Any questions? And if you ever want to go over how the ratio, sales and the ratios that are want to work, I'm happy to have a discussion about that with anybody.
Any further questions? Thank you. Hey.
Rob, you're up.
Rod, come on up.
Okay, we're coming here.
Right forward.
He's been trying to.
Oh, I got it.
How are you? Oh, yeah. This should be a lot shorter.
No promises.
You already did.
Thank you. I mean, we know each other. I've been here 19 years, and Jim, I think I'm here the second longest. But Rod Schmidt, I'm the construction official in the construction department here. Just give you kind of an overview of what we've done over the last 5 years. You see the numbers, 546, 743. Basically, we're averaging $593,000, $853,000 a year in permit fees. You see the updates in the permit numbers. We're all kind of consistent. The average permits are 1,658 permits a year over the last 5 years. We do that with 3 full-time staff, 3 part-time, and we have a shared service with our fire official, or our fire subcode official with Mount Olive, so he's technically not employed. And then we also provide the construction official and electric subcode to Randolph, so that helps offset our budget as income. Over the past 5 years, you see the capital budget. Pretty much nothing in 21, 23, 24, 25. In 22, we did receive a vehicle, Ford Explorer, but that actually was done through the equipment and DPW budget. Which brings me here, why I'm here today. Again, I've been here 19 years. This is the first time I've come and asked for anything. But this is not even an ask. This is a plead. I have asked in the past for digital storage. We are inundated with paper files that we have to maintain. We can't destroy any of them. Fabionics has provided us a quote. This is a it's a rough quote because it's impossible to figure out how many copies we have, how many boxes we're going to actually have. But I just want to get started in the process. This is not a 1 year, one and done process. This is a multi-year process. But for the quote I've received is for $28,000. That will get us maybe 1 out of the next 5 or 6 years of doing this. But if we don't, we simply do not have room.
How many years do you have to save?
Do we have to save? The life of the building. So anything we've generated since moving into this building is here. And
Prior to
it went into
tab, right? Amy, tab? There's a lot, yeah, that was a off-site storage.
No, it's both in boxes and storage facility.
I will, of our storage. I'm just gonna jump.
The 56 boxes last year's, last 5 years?
No, that's a section of the shelf, and you see the shelves. This is just a glimpse of what we have there. The 56 boxes would probably get one full rolling and maybe a third of another shelf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 of those shelves clear. And we have at least 10 of them.
So Rob, what's your plan here as far as it's concerned? I mean, digitizing is absolutely the way to go. I mean, we're gonna be talking about that in a little while, I would imagine, with our IT director, but are you looking to just do this over 5 years?
I think the next slide says this is a first year of a 6-year plan.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that far.
I'm asking to go to the picture, just to
Yeah, just to
visually
give you an
show
idea.
Will this clear up what we have in storage as well?
It will clear up what we have here in the building, not in tab.
Do you want to pay for storage?
I don't know what we pay for that. Amy might know better, but it's been,
It goes up every year because we had stuff that was like $16,000 a year, I believe.
16,000?
Yes, but we also have to pay to bring stuff back and
But that's for all departments, not just.
they don't really use it. Like my department doesn't have anything there. It's in my budget, but we don't have,
It's fraud.
we would benefit from having all that digitized and getting, certified by the state to have digital
I
records.
think we need a more comprehensive plan, get rid of some of these little storage things too, maybe an ongoing hard copy.
I can talk to Rod about other ideas I have as well as, with a different company for one, where we don't have to pay every time we go to get a record. Like I went back to 1948 on the minutes books, for example, and we have that, they took them, we got it done.
You reckon we pay for 1740?
I know, I'm still working on it.
Right, just so I'm clear.
But yes,
This
like
is
you don't have to
destroying
pay.
paper
yes.
versus
Yeah.
paper.
The company that gave us the quote, Fabionics, they're state approved, they're part of the co-op. They can destroy them. And then we can just go on and at any time pull up the record. It's gonna help with Oprah requests. Once we get it all on.
Would we start at the TAP facility first?
No, we'd start in our office, because if we don't, you're never gonna find us. It's just gonna keep coming in on us.
That's why I brought him.
It's about 30,000, let's talk about a project that's about 180,000 just for what's in this. I asked JJ, is that something that we could look at a grant for doing something like that?
I think there's actually been discussion. There's been discussions about also pursuing grants, but what we're here to talk about is the problem we're facing today. Like, we could do this 28,000, but we probably need 200,000.
I think the planning department has the same issue.
Planning, go to the engineer's office, go to
Fire
the clerk's
prevention.
office. You know, you're talking about tab, so we might have a $200,000 liability. We're looking to get started.
Here's the 30,000, it's 180, so yeah, it's $200,000.
That's just in this department, so.
And I'll give you a little
We would
background.
like to get started, and I think dual, going down parallel paths, let's potentially get started. Let's explore with, Amy's gonna have a chance to sit here, we can talk about some other options, looking at tab, what that would cost, but I agree. I'm just here to talk about, and that's why I used the word vulnerabilities at the beginning. There's things that have been talked about for years that never got put in front of you. And we're trying to bring it all in front of you to say, let's get started. Now, Jim, you're the only guy that might remember Russ Brown, 19 years ago, had put a request, there was $100,000 budget line item for digital storage. And when I came here 19 years ago, I kind of kicked that down the road. I took that off, every year I put it out. Because at the time it was a want. Now it is not a want, it is an absolute need. And we've scaled that back to start.
Well, let me ask you a question, and I've been here almost as long as Jim. far as that's concerned, Amy, aren't we using Dorn for all this stuff?
We can
I'm
darn
not familiar with every
circuits.
single, item that they have, that can
No,
be
but
used.
what I'm saying
Yes,
is why
we have to request permission to get rid of anything.
They don't store it,
But
though.
destruction's pretty good with it, so I don't think they may have permanent records that need to be kept.
What I'm trying to say is this, we're looking to use this particular vendor for this purpose, okay? But aren't we already storing this stuff off-site using Dorn, right?
No, Dorn is the
No.
destruction.
Yeah, that's
Destruction,
destruction.
so when we have
Isn't
used
there,
Dorn.
isn't there something that you've been using over the years, Amy?
That's Artemis and Dorn, right, it's the archives and records management, and destruction of archives and records is Dorn. And we request permission to destroy, older records based on a calculation that they get. And it goes through that process, but.
I was just thinking we should use the same system, that was the whole.
So,
As
well,
far
for that,
as
again, that's
storage,
just
well,
for destruction, we do that, when we can destruct, get rid of plans, certain plans. What you see there, those are, we have to keep that for the life of the building. And just every year, we're 1,600 plus permits a year. That file could be a 1/4 inch, or it could be 4 inches. Do the math, I mean, there's this, it could take up this entire table 1 year. We don't have that room. I've added multiple rolling shelves that I've taken from other offices. Chris Rass used to have, they were unused, I took them. I built other racks in the office. We just simply don't have the room anymore. Years ago, when we needed an office for the prosecutor, that used to be a storage room down there. My office was much bigger. I gave half of that, or a third of that, to storage so that we could facilitate an office down here. I don't have wall room to even add another $4,000 worth of shelving.
I think you made your pitch.
Okay. That's why I'm here, Jim. I'm gonna jump back because I just wanted to get to the photos, so. Okay, so, one other thing I'm just gonna also, mention is that we are looking also for another vehicle for the electrical inspector. Steve Sinise with DPW and equipment, he'll be handling that portion of it though. But, our electrical inspector, he's probably putting on more miles than anybody in a year, and it's, the vehicle's now 11 years old. He's putting on 20,000 miles a year. So, there's a need there too. But again, that's not gonna come, that's gonna come when Steve does his presentation down the road. And then there's this, the yearly maintenance of this, a little over 2,000, and then you see there, this is that, kind of my first year of a 6-year plan. Might be 5, might be 7. It depends on what we get each year. If it's 5 or 7, it doesn't matter, you won't be seeing me here. So I'm kind of getting prepped for the next guy coming in, and help him out.
Is this the private company doing these kind of savings?
I'm sorry?
Is this the private company that does this type of?
Yeah. And
sources of it?
And you can see the towns that they work in. That was perfect segue. They're doing all the towns right around us, including Mount Olive. I don't think that's on the list, but they're wrapping up with Mount Olive too. Another town that's right here, Mendenboro. They just did all of Mendenboro. So they're kind of the premier company doing this, and again, they're also on the co-op plan.
Can I ask a question about that? Would we have to pay every time
Well-
since they have it in Randolph, you would know do we have to pay every time we want a document?
No, because you go on, Rob, I'm gonna look to you, what is it called, data?
And you just pull it?
Yeah, they just host it, and you're gonna go to their site.
Yeah, you're gonna go to their
You're
site.
gonna download it as a PDF and send it.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a cost for hosting.
Well, that's what this is right here. So it's like 2,040 a year. But we don't, like tab, you paid every time. You pay for the search, you pay for the delivery, you pay for the pickup.
I would
This-
like to get all that out of town one day.
Yeah, this
so
would not be that way.
Well, this would be our costs.
So I'm gonna now just go to the operating budget. The operating budget has pretty much been the same since I've been here. You know, short of any salaries changes. But it's, you know, remains pretty flat. The salaries and wages, that's actually offset by the contribution with Randolph for both construction official, my position, and the electrical subcode's position. And the first few items are, you know, just a few $1,000s really. Simple stuff, but then you get down to the bottom, the pension contribution, the FICA, that's all, whatever finance has
That's
told
me.
us, yeah, they figured that all out.
Any questions on the operating budget?
This is basically, the next sheet is just the worksheet.
First time we've had the opportunity to see this. Does anybody have any questions for Rob on the operating budget?
This is the worksheet, and then, I'll just leave you with that, anything, unless you have any questions. No, we'll just let this pile do more.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes.
Roger, the account 269 is GIS software and data backup. Is that for all of the different departments or just the 8,000 here?
I believe that's just for our department. Again, it's something that we take.
They built several
Yours,
because they charge
UCC, yeah,
Yeah.
he gets a portion of it, and then the rest of it is in Rob's budget.
Yes. Yeah, anything, the gasoline, pension, FICA, health, all that.
Bills?
You're welcome to visit anytime you want.
I believe it.
You know where to find me.
He's buried.
Any questions?
No, I think we're good. Thank you, Rob.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think Rob is up next.
Yeah, good thing is I can open my own PowerPoint.
Murphy's Law, good luck.
Yeah.
All in that order.
Yeah, right. So it's one.
Rod thought he was cool when he said he was here 19 years. This is year 25 for me, so. This is, yeah. And the good news is I have two slides, one for capital, one for operating. In my budget, when you look at the actual sheets, you'll see that there's increases. The increases are strictly cost increases. There's nothing new added. For example, you're looking at capital. There's $28,000 in there for the continued replacement of desktop PCs. It's just something we do ongoing, refresh them on a schedule to keep them functioning properly. Same thing server-wise. We have servers that are replaced on a schedule. We have 3 different buildings, all housing their own network rack that needs the equipment swapped out on a schedule. Security equipment, same way. Some of it gets swapped out. Some of it is a phased project that you guys had approved several years ago to get through, whether it be cameras, access control systems, panic buttons, various alarms. This is a continuation of that project to grow into some of the other buildings. So they are increased numbers. The capital budget isn't necessarily an increase as compared to what was outlined in the in the forecast from prior years. But on the operating side, I'll highlight a couple. It is increased, but they're contractual increases. Sort of to Rod's point with his paper data. electronic data is my responsibility, and it just keeps growing. It's, the more pictures we take to document a inspection, a complaint, they all have to be kept. And it's just a constantly growing number. You guys could probably attest to it at home, looking at your phones, how many pictures you had. If you looked at your phone and said, how many pictures have I taken since January 1 of 25 to December 31st, you'd probably fall over and actually quantify that number. Multiply that out by all of the employees here that are out there on the, inspectors out there documenting things. The number of emails, all of it. And then double it, because now that stuff has to all be backed up. So it's just a growing number. Some of the others are compliance issues. The website, there's an increase in cost there to start the ADA compliance requirements that were mandated to fall under by April of 27. We have the first portion is active already. The final portion will be by the deadline in 27, but it does come with a cost to get that off the ground. The transcription software you see has a substantial increase in it, partially because you guys approved it last year, so we didn't pay a full year. So if you look at it, 26 versus 25, it looks like an increase, but it's that you're paying the full 12 months, not the prorated by the time budget was available last year. And security equipment is up, again, on the same principle as data. It's the things we've added. They all come with a subscription with maintenance charges, hosting of the data from those devices. More devices drives that annual cost up per device cost. Questions of you guys before I get anything else?
Just in general, we had a meeting at the computer committee,
Early December.
Yeah.
And the mayor, Mrs. Browley, myself, KJ, and Rob got together and we went through this in detail. Good job.
Anyone have any more questions or comments for that? Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Mary, that's all I have in terms of the team for tonight. But I would welcome any feedback on this style. Anything else you want to see? I can take some copious notes from some of your comments.
When do we anticipate receiving the books?
Well, the numbers just came in today.
We should have it definitely before the next meeting.
And they'll be posted on the website?
We'll post the proposed on the website.
Any other questions, comments for?
I got an updated time frame for the apparatus. The scheduled date is May of 2028, and earliest would be late 2027. Okay. And I just also want to just mention that tonight we took delivery of our new chief's vehicle. Tonight we took delivery of our new chief's vehicle tonight.
The new chief vehicle?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Chief.
Yep.
We will take that information and divide the 425, 450 between the 2 years.
We'll take a recommendation on that. It's just asking a question at this point.
Yeah, once we see everything.
Am I kicking?
Like I said, just asking a question, I take the recommendation, now we have additional information. All right, anybody else?
Feedback, do you like this department going over operating in?
I'll circle back with you tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
This is smaller towns, we don't need to see.
You're gonna take
We're
public,
getting
do
away
you guys
from-
mind if you're gonna take public
We're
comment
saying
if I
you're a
come back
small
to my?
department. Saying you're a small
We
department.
could cover it in 20 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Nice try, Steve.
All right, I'm gonna let you do that.
You can look up.
I'll give you. Get out of the hot seat and
Sorry.
come up here.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you. Great job today on presenting us the initial budget. What? 5, matters requested referred by council members, managers, attorneys, and clerk. There are none. This brings us to item 6, our first public portion. I'd like to ask that we focus on our budget and our township business on this portion, but it's open to any topic. Anybody who wishes to be heard from the public, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Heather. I'm from Roxbury Township, so here. Some questions I have for...
I need your address, please. And
Heather Schaub, Roxbury Township. 11 Justine Place. So, has the town increased their police budget in preparation of the possibility of an ICE facility opening, as there will be significant situations regarding and requiring police protections?
It's a great question. We have not been presented the police budget for 2026 yet, but as that comes to us, we'll be able to answer that question.
And also, does the budget reflect increased costs for sanitation, sewage, and other costs associated with a possible ICE facility?
Again, great questions, but we haven't been presented those budgets, and we'll be able to answer those when those budgets.
Okay. And will any of these kind of increased costs, if possible, be responsible on the taxpayer?
I can't answer that question right now because I haven't seen any future budgets on the departments you just asked about.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. See, no.
Hi, I'm McGovern, 87 St. John's in Parsippany. Just to follow up on that question, I'd like to know what kind of contingencies you may be planning, and if there's been an analysis of what those costs might be, because I mean, as you can imagine, I know that you've anticipated some of this in the very wording of the resolution that you passed last week, that we much appreciate, that it would be burdensome, to an extent that is, hard to foresee and even harder to absorb. So, I hope that is being factored into your considerations. Just to follow on that, it all comes back to the budget because of the way, that this will impose burdens on the town. But I'm wondering if either tonight or at your next regular meeting, if you can disclose more of your own impressions of the site tour that you did last week, so that everyone is kept informed about that. And I'm wondering if you are in touch with the many other municipalities across the country, most of them Republican-controlled, who have been swiftly passing ordinances, to impose moratoriums on this kind of development, to head off the consequences of having an ICE facility in town. As you, I'm sure, noticed, thanks to our Democrat governor, we did not get a law about data protection signed today that would have stanched the flow of people who might be going to this jail. So, municipalities have to be, shoring up whatever protections they have. It's also been leaked that ICE believes they're going to have these facilities up and running by March. So you have to be, ready for the onslaught of whatever precipitous, tramplings of your permitting and your zoning that they might be planning, that you have to be, on the lookout for. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have some dear township business, sir? Because he raised his hand.
That's all right.
No, go ahead if you want to. I'll let you go first. That's fine.
Quick question, Robert Cost, Veterans Road. I'm surprised nobody picked up on that one item on the maintenance of computer maintenance or something. They asked for $8,000 and they're being given $14,000. What?
So, Mr. Kloska, this is the first time we've seen these budgets. We have time to review them and then circle back with detailed information, detailed questions.
Okay, so then
that will come.
So we'll be talking about this later on?
I would absolutely say yes. We'll be talking about these lines later on.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Just 1 second. Is there anybody that has any questions that would relate to our staff so we can let them go? All right, seeing none, I'm gonna close this public portion, and we'll have a second one in just a few minutes, all right? So since there's no questions for staff, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item 7, introduction of proposed ordinances, there are none. Item 8, hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading, none. Item 9, introduction of adoption of resolutions, there are none. Personnel changes, none. 11, communications, none. This brings us to our second public portion. If anyone in the public wish to be heard on any topic, please go.
That was very quick. William Angus from Hackettstown. Echoing the previous comments about how this is going to impact the budget, when I was driving over here tonight, I was in the left lane coming up from Netcom. There was a tractor trailer that was trying to pull into the warehouse facility. We sat there for almost 3 minutes, waiting for an opportunity for it to go left. And this was at a time when there's very little traffic, but there's just enough that he could not do it safely. And that hill is a blind hill on both sides. And you also have tractor trailers that go left when they go up the hill into the pilot, and those that are coming out of the pilot turning left onto the westbound lanes. So you already have a situation that's kind of unsafe. And this facility has been labeled as an active facility, meaning 24-hour activity. And my question is, has any traffic study been done about whether you need a dedicated left-hand lanes, traffic lights, or more to ensure that we're not having cops and EMS having to respond to accidents every single day? Because if this place is as active as they say, that's going to make a dangerous part of the road even more so. So my first question is, regarding, is there any traffic study? Can you do one? What would this be effect on the budget if you had to build a traffic light? And then second, it's going to be drawing from the same water supply that Mount Olive, Netcong, and Roxbury use. And there's always been some questions about the water supply and how it can meet the needs of the people. And along the same lines, have any studies been done, or are you planning to do any studies to ensure that the presence of this facility doesn't create water problems for the 3 towns?
So answer your first question on the traffic study, or if a traffic light would fall back into the budget. No, a traffic light would not fall back into the budget. It is a state road. It would fall into the state's budget.
Okay.
We are aware of the traffic situation in that area. Our chief of police is very keen to what happens in that area. It's people in Roxbury know the impact that area has on traffic. I'm unfamiliar with a specific traffic study that you're asking for. I don't believe one exists, but we are aware of the traffic in that area. It's been on our radar for a while. As far as water and sewer, we are also aware of the sewer limitations there on that property, and in a township agreement that falls on that property. So to answer your question, yes, we are aware of limitations in that area.
Thank you.
Good evening, Diana May, 30 Whisper Way East, Ledgewood, here in town, 15-year resident. First, I'm insulted by the request that we members of the public not speak at all tonight.
There was no request.
Okay.
I asked if we could maintain, because this is a special
I understand.
budget meeting, if we could maintain the budget questions.
Portions,
to
yes.
maintain for business, township business.
Right.
That was the request. I can ask that. Like I said when I opened public portion, you could come up and talk about any topic. We're just asking that for the people who are here for the budget. That's why.
Absolutely, I understand, and
about 7 or 8 staff people here.
absolutely, I understand. I have evenings for my job that I don't like to be there. The wording was just, please don't speak tonight, not wait to the second public session, which is what my point is, that it would be totally appropriate to ask to wait for the second public session. Happy to do that, learn more about how our budget works, but to just be asked to not speak at all is kind of how it came across, and that came across offensive. To the topic I'm here for tonight, as a Roxbury resident, I am extremely concerned about property values. While my home has appreciated very nicely over the last 14 years that I've owned it, I do expect its value to drop significantly once an ICE facility opens here. That's how it does relate to our budget discussions. Yesterday, Tap Into Roxbury reported that the property at 1879 Route 46 had its maintenance guarantee released by this council via Resolution 2026-023 at last Tuesday's meeting. Then first thing Wednesday morning, ICE officials appeared to inspect the warehouse at that very same property. And while I understand that the process to approve the property was in the works for over 5 years, the timing of it being finalized Tuesday night and ICE showing up the very next morning is either highly suspicious or one heck of a coincidence. At the very least, I would assume that DHS officials have been in communication with Adler Roxbury LLC and following the progress of this approval to learn when they could start moving forward with their plans. You can no longer act as though the ICE facility here is theoretical. I urge you to act proactively and do everything in your power to create every legally viable obstacle to keep ICE out of Roxbury. Thank you.
I'm Birdie Green from Montague.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I'm Birdie Green from Montague. I address the council today as a sister of someone with a developmental disability. My family has very different political beliefs, and it's caused a lot of strife, especially right now. But because of my sister, we recognize that sometimes we have to come together when there's someone or something caught in the middle. I don't support ICE, and I know some amongst the council do. That's probably one of many issues that we disagree on. But last week, your council voted unanimously to oppose an ICE facility in Roxbury. I know your reasons are different from mine, and I'm not here to discuss or pass judgment on those reasons. What's important is that you did oppose it, and it must not have been easy waking up on the next morning to find out that it was not just a rumor. With the national attention and all of these people showing up to your council meetings, I know that you are under a lot of pressure right now to uphold that resolution. But if everyone in this room can agree on this one thing, we don't want an ICE facility in Roxbury, then look around you. We're a team now. You don't have to face all this pressure alone. There are many here with experience and expertise in fighting this. Please let us help you. They stopped it in Kansas City, Missouri. We can stop it here in Roxbury too, together as a community.
Jody Kegan, 90 Union Brick Road, Blairstown. I saw the proclamation last week by this council, but I'm confused because will the federal government approach you as a board, or will they actually approach the zoning or planning board to get their approval?
Yeah, they have to reach out to us, but.
You mean the federal government?
Yeah.
But I mean.
Well, no, technically no.
Right, I mean, typical land use is I'm an applicant, I go to the zoning or planning board, I won't come to you guys at all. Now, I think that's a great resolution you made, but I mean, I don't quite understand your skin in the game, and I'm glad you're in it, because I've thought, yeah.
The zoning and planning board are within the municipality, so we wouldn't know about it.
Well, yes, but I mean, but from a practical standpoint, the federal, I mean, someone just said someone's gonna come here in March, potentially they wanna open it, and I've watched a lot of land use. It takes years sometimes to get things approved, like a Wawa or Quick Check or, you know, your backyard pool. So what the next step that the applicant would make would be not to come here, it would be go to the zoning board or planning board. I mean, do they need a zone change to go from warehouse to, I don't know, like a hotel? Is that a allowed use?
I'm not sure of the zone, but usually when there's a
Okay, so if it's light, if it's light industrial, then does that include what the federal government, like, is that considered light industrial housing, like a jail?
No, the concern would be whether the federal government can do what they wish regardless of our zoning.
So regardless of our zoning,
Is there, oh, really? Really?
regardless of.
We don't know that.
Oh, we don't, is any one of you the, like, liaison to the planning or the zoning? Oh, you're right, yeah, so have you, like, I mean, I guess the next stop is the zoning meeting and asking this question, which is,
This is not a permitted use within the.
oh, okay. It's not a permitted use.
It's my understanding from our attorneys and counsel that state and federal can supersede our local zoning.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's my understanding. My also understanding is that the current warehouse is not zoned for this proposed use.
Mhm.
And just because it's not mentioned in it, automatically makes it a non-permissible use.
Right, so they would have to go.
That's my belief, from what I'm told.
So they would have to go to the zoning board, right, for
No,
center
no, no,
case.
no, no, no.
And the allocation for sewer and water is designated during the application process.
Right, but application to who? The application's not coming to you.
The current approved application. Forget about the jail, we don't know anything about an ice facility. We know the road, they haven't decided on this place, nor am I sure that they will decide on it.
Right, but we want to get a jump on the rumor, right? So we know the rumor will start at probably zoning board. It will not start the planning board or with you guys. That's all I'm saying, is I don't want to be caught behind. I want to be ahead. And I feel like we're a little bit behind because you're leading the front, but back here is the zoning board and permissible use and stuff. That's all I'm saying. And
It's not permissible use, so I think the question is not relevant.
it's not, no, my question is, this is not gonna come to you, but I'm repeating myself at this point. And my other question is, what is the plan, is this where the zoning board meets?
Yes.
Okay, what is the plan for overflow people?
Right now, there's an overflow, you're talking about attendance?
Yeah, attendance, yeah.
Right now, the overflow room is open across the hall in the courtroom.
Okay, so it's by like a video or something, and we would have the same right to walk in and ask the question at the appropriate time? That's how that would work? Okay, all right, thank you.
Seeing none, I'll close public.
No. There's like 3 more people who want to speak.
What? Bonnie Rosenthal, Randolph. Mine is just a question, actually. We've been coming for three weeks. This is the 4th week now. And last Tuesday night, you guys passed the resolution. And you can imagine if we're sitting here for hours, that when we're at home, we're doing rapid response and making sure that people are safe. Not just people who are undocumented, but citizens. You guys all know what's going on in Minnesota and now also in New Jersey. My question is, so when we left here last Tuesday night, I want to say it was like 9 p.m., by 11 p.m., I knew that there was going to be a visitation by the federal government to the property at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. When did you guys find out? And it's kind of odd, like after hours, but I know people showed up. So it's just, maybe coincidence, but it was kind of odd that,
Someone in the public told us.
Someone
in the public told us.
Okay.
And the list.
Yeah, I think it was our people who told you guys.
You were the ones that told us.
There was a list. The list was received by the township in the morning.
Okay, thank you. No, that's all I'm asking thank you for clarifying that.
Hi, my name is Sierra Wilson. I'm in Bud Lake, so I'm your neighbor. My question is, and I found out last week as well, and my question is, if there was an ICE tour, did you speak with them? Did you speak with the ICE agents or anyone in government?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask what was discussed?
We expressed our concerns that were laid out in the resolution.
Okay, have there been any contact with our congressman, our governor, our new governor, I suppose, anyone from Washington?
We have made contact with our congressmen and senators and assembly people.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for your time. My name is Zoe,
I am in Stanhope, but I am
Zoe,
a graduate.
last name, please.
Zoe Best. I am in Stanhope, but I graduated from Morris County School of Technology over 10 years ago. So being that we're speaking about the budget, I understand you don't have all of the budgets worked out for this year, but I did just want to note the safety risk for the schools in these towns and the surrounding areas with the possibility of an increased ICE presence, as well as just the current ICE presence. As we saw in Morristown, a 17-year-old citizen was taken. So really, I guess, to connect it to the budget, is that something that's sort of being worked into it for the possibility of this happening?
So, that is a different budget than your municipal government. The school board is its own elected board. They meet on.
This Monday.
But it wouldn't be the school budget, it would be the, like, public safety, right?
No.
Just around
We're
the
asking for
schools, not,
security on the school
not on school, just around the schools, like for students walking home, public transportation,
We'll,
the buses.
we'll take that up with the chief, and when that budget comes in front of us, we'll have it.
Amazing. So, but it's something to be thought about, maybe starting now, right?
I'm sorry, Security.
Maybe it's something to start thinking about right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lori Seredvick. I reside in Parsippany. I've been a Morris County resident for over 35 years. Trying to effect change in the current immigration system is beyond our reach today. But having the power to make a difference in the lives of residents who are citizens and immigrants in Roxbury and Morris County today is not. I do have power in my vote and in the First Amendment. I will continue to exercise my First Amendment rights in hopes that it will exact a change. I was raised in Cedar Grove, New Jersey by my parents. My father was born in Ohio. His ancestors were Quakers, some of whom were buried in the cemetery in Randolph. My mother was a granddaughter of an Irish immigrant who fled her homeland for a better life. I claim no more rights to live as an American as anyone in this room, or an immigrant who came here to escape violence in their homeland. Were it not for the fact that I am Caucasian, my family's story would be very different. I'm a Catholic who is taught to believe that all lives have value, that we deserve justice, and all people are our brothers and sisters. This administration says this is a Christian nation, but they act contrary to those beliefs. ICE agents act with violence and hold power over others who are powerless. Will we leave our brothers and sisters to suffer and give them no hope? Will we put them in confinement without basic needs, with no contact with their loved ones who may never see them again? They are denied in many cases a right to fight for themselves in court and are denied access to an attorney. ICE agents are working for people who believe they are above the law. Where is justice for all? It isn't very different than during World War II, when groups of people, including children, were incarcerated without rights and denied basic needs. There may not be gas chambers in these detention centers, but the inhumanity is the same. Don't let Roxbury become the new Auschwitz. Will future generations look back and wonder why we were complacent? If we are able to act and save fellow human beings, we should do everything and anything in our power to do so. Call out injustice where we see it and protest any way we can. Will you tear parents out of their children's arms? Just a minute more. Will you deny the child the comfort of their parents' love? If you are not willing to do this yourselves, then don't let ICE do it. We may live in a world with borders, but we must live and act like there are no borders that separate us from our humanity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jenny Garcia. I live at 220 Franklin Avenue in Rockaway Township, but I do have family that lives on Howard Boulevard. I stand by the fact that New China has the best Chinese food in the state of New Jersey. So I was happy to be back in the neighborhood, you know, to see my aunts and stuff. I just want to go back to what the previous speaker spoke on the emotional and traumatic toll that ICE agents are having across the state of New Jersey. Like I said, I work for an organization that provides legal services, and the other weekend, ICE took a mother who was on her way to see her 3-month-old baby in the NICU. She begged ICE agents with her hospital bracelet on that she was on her way to see her baby. They told her she was lying, and now she's currently in the Elizabeth Detention Center. So I just want the council to understand who we're up against, and I understand things are rumors right now. Growing up in Morris County, this is not a new thing. You know, I went to high school with other children who would threaten to call immigration on my family. We were undocumented for a long time. So I think the rumors of this facility is gonna scare a lot of people in town. I have a few questions. My first question, I understand that you shared your concerns with the ICE agents. What was the ICE agents' response to your concerns?
They listened to what we had to say.
But what did they say back to you?
They did not communicate much back to us.
But what was said?
I don't think they said.
Thank you for your concerns.
Yeah, you know, they're different components. They didn't say this was in a rush, and we pointed out some of our concerns, including the traffic, the water, the sewer, and the other safety and security concerns. They listened to it and understood.
Mm-hmm.
Said they're going out to look at other facilities.
Was there follow-up on when they would get back to you? Like, we'll send you an email, we will call who, or?
No, in fact, it was quite clear that they didn't anticipate anything happening quickly.
How long was the tour?
We were with them for maybe half an hour.
Okay. Around what time was the tour?
10 something in the morning.
Okay, but there was no other follow-up. What specific congressman has reached out to you in order to support? Like which members of Congress or which elected officials have reached out in support or to help you navigate the situation?
Well, we contacted our U.S. senators, Booker and Kim, and Congressman Kane, and our local legislative team. I'll let them speak for themselves.
And then I would invite folks on the council. I think we often think that ICE detention is a separate issue because the current ICE detention centers are in Newark and Elizabeth, but that families are being ripped apart here in Morris County and in Roxbury and in Parsippany. The conditions of visitors outside of Delaney Hall that wait for 2 hours on end to visit their families, there's abysmal food conditions. The amount of human rights abuses that will happen in this facility if this council does not meet the moment and try to get ahead of it as much as possible is going to be detrimental. It will be a stain on the town's history. Residents are going to be really angry. I need you to understand that the amount of cruelty and human rights abuses is insane right now. So I really appreciate the effort to get ahead of everything. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ardith Collins. I'm a resident of Parsippany.
I'm sorry, your first name again?
Ardith.
Ardith.
I'm a Jersey girl through and through. I love this country and I love Morris County. I stood here 2 weeks ago and spoke against the building of an ICE detainment center in Roxbury. I spoke on behalf of all people who ICE is targeting, which is all of us. 15 hours later, Renee Nicole Good was murdered. American citizens who dare to stand up against this regime are being kidnapped. As J.D. Vance commanded, going door-to-door raids are now happening. To the "don't tread on me" folks, isn't this the definition of being tread upon? To the people who have been saying less government, you now want untrained, armed, cosplaying boys in your streets? Isn't that the definition of more government? Isn't this a repeat of Nazi Germany? To anyone saying this is too extreme, literal Nazi doctrine was on the podium during Kristi Noem's recent press conference. One of ours, all of yours. ICE agents get less training than a barista, 47 days at max, yet ICE budget exceeds what NASA should have. Toddlers know better de-escalation strategies than these masked thugs. Whose kids will fill the boots when we are dragged into another for-profit war? Or will you claim your kid has bone spurs too? I have a question. Has any of you visited Delaney Hall?
No.
Maybe you should. I also ask this. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? When ICE comes to your neighborhood, neutrals have no home. You're in union with your neighbors, or you're a thug for Kristi Noem. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, soldiers, can you stand it? Tell me, how will you endure? Will you defend the Constitution and keep the oath that you swore? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Don't obey the tyrants. Don't listen to their lies. In union we will find the strength to be here and organize. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? I know what side I'm on.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one else, I'll close public. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?